All right, so I really wanted to do this video a while ago, but I just haven't had the time. So now I am making the time. I put this slide together. I put this slideshow together because I really want to talk about these new fees. I want to explain to you the truth of what's going on with all this from someone who actually does this, and does it full time and relies on this to actually make money, right? This is accurate information. It's something that you're only going to hear about here in this course because if you go to YouTube, if you go to Facebook, you're going to hear so much nonsense, your head's going to explode. It's just insane, the stuff that people talk about, having absolutely no clue whatsoever. So let's get into the truth of the FBA fees, what you need to change, and what to do going forward. So, what changed? So, there's no longer separate FBA fees like weight handling, pick and pack. They used to have this whole list of fees. So now they're consolidating everything into one fee. Um, and then the FBA prices for books and CDs and stuff like that, they're the same as for all other types of items. So toys and electronics, all that. As far as the FBA fees go, they've made them the same across the board. So that means books and stuff, the fees went up a bit. So what that means for us booksellers, so the first thing is I created the course with this in mind. There's very few changes that have to be made due to this because all my videos were, almost every single one designed around this because I knew this was going to happen. And the next thing is that, since I started selling books, the $7 to $8 books have never been the holy grail of book selling. They profit maybe a couple dollars at most, and I only sent them in when they were super cheap or I got them for free. Those are the only type of books that are not feasible to send in. So that's the only change that's it. So you can't send in $7 or $8 books anymore, right? But you're going to hear about why this doesn't even matter in a couple slides from now. And I'm going to talk about something that nobody seems to want to realize and mention that changes the whole game and makes these FBA fees basically not even matter for the FBA sale, and I'm going to tell you why. So you're going to hear all kinds of nonsense. I'm telling you right now. I see it all over the place. YouTube, I see it on Facebook. You need to tune out the noise. Some of these people have sent in, literally, there are people that have sent in thousands of penny books to FBA, and they try to sell them for $15, $20. And because, the inventory fees were super low back then, thinking that's going to work forever. And then now when they realize they're going to get hit with $5,000, $10,000 worth of long-term storage fees because they had a terrible business model, they want to say book selling's dead, right? So there's just so much nonsense on YouTube and the Facebook groups. It's insane. You really need to get your information from someone who actually knows what they're talking about. So going forward, this is what you need to do. You don't want to buy any books for $1 that you can't sell for at least $9. You don't want to buy any books for $2 that you can't sell for at least $10 FBA. Now, always pay attention to the weight of the book. That hasn't changed. If a book feels like it's over 4 pounds, that's going to cut into your profits. Every pound over 2 pounds will take off about 41 cents off your net profit. So it only starts to get really noticeable after 4 pounds. So if it's a heavy book, always add a couple dollars to your minimum price. So if you're spending $2 on a book and it sells for $10 FBA and it's like a pound or less, it's really light, you're good to go. If you're spending $2 on a book that sells for $10 FBA and that book is a monster and it's like 5-6 pounds, you don't want to buy it. Okay? Now, triggers can't account for this. Okay? So you can't just rely on triggers, and I'm going to get into that further. They're great to use for a new person. They get you going, but you need to be able to read the data. And then you want to continue to source quality books. State sales are great for this. Library sales are good for this. Even garage sales are good in affluent areas, right? People that have a little more money than the average neighborhood. Those have always been good places to source. So you always want to be sourcing in towns that, they have wealthier folks living there when you can. You can make a lot of money from college campuses even, buying students used textbooks. I know people that make a lot of money just doing that. You'll have to pay a little more money up front, but it's guaranteed profit every time. So here's the opportunity, and here's what like no one wants to acknowledge. Fees are going up for merchant sellers too. So every book that you see, let's say you look up Harry Potter, all the books that aren't selling for a lot, penny books they call them. They're going up by a minimum of $1.05. That's right. So every Harry Potter, every Scholastic, every crappy children's book that went for $3.99 plus a penny before, it's going to start selling for a bare minimum of $5.05 when the market stabilizes. So the reason for that is there is a VCF fee. It was $1.35. It went up to $1.80. This is as of March 1st. So if you haven't really seen all these changes yet, take a look. And we'll go into this at the end of the video. I'm going to show you examples of this already happening. It's the end of February, hasn't even hit March 1st, and the bigger sellers, the smarter sellers, are already making changes. And then the 15% referral fee, they used to take 50% of just the cost of the book. Now they're taking it of your shipping too. So a $4 book, that's going to cost 60 cents extra now. That's why it's a minimum of $1.05, right? So on a lot of books, it goes up even more than that. So what does this mean? It means that there's a very strong possibility that penny books, as they were once called, may become profitable for FBA sellers as long as it's a light book. So there's a strong possibility that, us as FBA sellers will be able to sell a book like Harry Potter, paperback generally because it's lighter, for $9, $10 FBA and make $1 to $2 profit. And there's a real good chance that those penny books you can sell for $9, $10 FBA because no one's going to sell them for $6 FBA because they're going to actually lose money, right? Because the fees are going up across the board. See, people don't want to talk about this, but the fees are getting passed to the customer. The only one that gets screwed here is the customer. The market's going to balance out like it always does. It might take a little while, but it's already happening, and I've already seen it happen. So if you can start selling these cheap penny books now, FBA, and make $1 to $2 or whatever off it, that can add up to a lot of freaking money. If you get books in bulk, there are so many of those books out there. So this is a real potential for opportunity here. And even if that doesn't pan out, like you're going to see, the market's going to even out, guys. And the only people that this is going to hurt is the customer. So trigger settings, a lot of people have been asking about triggers. Do we need to make any changes? So the truth is, despite the changes, you really don't need to make any edits. If you really want to, you can add 50 cents to the lowest dollar amount triggers, like the first few. But the triggers are nothing more than a way to get you started when you're new. At the end of the day, when you become more experienced, you have to be able to read the data. So for example, the triggers might say that a book is a good buy, but that doesn't mean it's always going to be perfect. They'll be accurate 90% of the time, usually, but there's that 10% where issues come up. Again, you got to pay attention to the weight and the size of your books because the triggers, they can't take that into account. Small light books are always going to have the smallest fees. The heavy large books are going to have higher fees. So triggers, like I said, they don't take that into account. So you always have to be aware of this when you're scanning. So as far as repricing changes, everything pretty much stays the same except you want your floor price to go higher. So as far as reprice it goes, there's a field called minimum allowable price. So we want to raise that to about $8 or $9 as a minimum, as opposed to, $6 or $7. So you want to make that change for every template. So I think there's like 3 templates you have to change that one field, and that's it. So that's all you have to change for repricing. So again, to conclude, I can't stress enough to ignore the noise, guys. You are going to hear so much crap on Facebook, on YouTube, that it's ridiculous. Look 30 days, 60 days ahead of the time and see and tell me if I was wrong. Everything is going to work out where the fees are going to cause the prices overall, they're just going to go up, guys. They're just going to go up and up. And the day of the $4 book on Amazon is gone. That might still happen on eBay. It's not happening on Amazon anymore. Huge companies that sell $5,000 or 5,000 units a day of these penny books, they're not going to operate at a loss. They will lose so much money, if they continue to do that. And I'll show you an example of that right now. This is a penny book, right? Okay, so there's 900 offers, guys, okay? So you still got some for 1 cent. It's February 28th, the last day before March 1st. March 1st is when all these fees go up for the merchant sellers, right? So I want to show you guys what's happening already. There's only one page, so we got one page of penny books. These guys, I guarantee you, these are going to be, they'll catch on real fast. Trust me, when they start losing money on all these books. But look at this. Not even 1.5 pages of penny books, and look, it already jumps up to 25 cents. It already is happening before the fees have even gone in. People are making the changes. The day of the penny book is gone, right? This has 900 offers. This is one of the most common books there is, and there's only like what, 10 or 12 penny book offers. This is a huge change, and the market is going to balance out. Oh, and I do want to show you guys the order I just got today. I mean, this is why I do this. These kind of books. I don't sell books to sell books for $7 and make $1 or $2. I sell books for sales like this, right? $98.98 I sold this book for. I got this book in a lot of books that I bought per pound. $100 I sold this book for. If you click on it, you'll check it out. You could see the cheapest one's $95. A lot of these railroad books, they sell good. I just sold this today. Look at the rank on this. It's a monster, right? 4 million rank, but mine sold. And you know why it sold? It sold because of that reprice it template that you guys all have access to now for 2 million plus books. Because, you're always going to be that cheapest price 99% of the time on those high rank books. These guys, who knows how long it's going to take theirs to sell. But you're using my settings, you're going to sell a lot of high rank books. $100 on this just sold today. That's the reason we sell books, right? So every video in this course was designed to teach you to sell books the right way, okay? As there's changes, I'm always going to do update videos like this. I'm going to show you guys what's going on. I'm going to show you guys the things that people don't talk about, the things that you don't hear about. The information you get from those free videos and free YouTube videos. And I understand that I have a YouTube channel too. But the information you get from those free sources, it's worth exactly what you paid for it. So, with that said, drown out the noise, keep doing what you're doing. The market's going to balance out. Source quality books, and you're going to make money, right? You're going to make money. And always try to source books for as cheap as you can. Always try to get books for $1. Don't pay the $2 unless you have to, right? I always try to pay just $1 for the books that, I buy. If I can avoid it, I always avoid paying the $2. So with that said, hopefully with this information, this will clear up a lot of fallacies that are out there, a lot of confusion. And now, with this clarity, you should be able to go out there and make some money.